My name's Calvin Waite, and I trade Bitcoin and cryptocurrency for a living. Let's look at Ethereum today. So this is a weekly chart. We've seen, so this is essentially 4.5 years worth of information. The very first time we had a solid run with Ethereum, our peak was right on this line that I've drawn. And so this is 0.0375 Bitcoin, pretty close. And it took us about a year to retouch it. This time we soared through it, bounced off of it, went up to the moon, came back down, we touched it again, fell through and found support, launched up, and then when we finally came back down and broke through it, it became resistance. This was kind of a little fight. It wasn't a very clean rejection, but overall we've been playing with this line. We hadn't seen this line since February of 2019, so it's been a year and a half since we've even been in the vicinity of this line. And a few weeks ago I mentioned that we'd probably see a slowdown because we finally touched this line for the first time. So now let's zoom in, because now that we know that this long-term horizontal resistance is the final thing standing in our way, we may be getting into a little bit of trouble. I wouldn't call it trouble, I would call it a period of retracement or a little bit of patience. So if you're in Ethereum and you don't have any patience, you're going to have a little bit of a rough go here. When we finally broke above this and we started moving up, these types of moves will find some resistance on these long-term barriers. So 0.037 is the number. In the next couple of days, I would not be surprised if we touch it, but I would also bet that we come back down. Well, we did see a little bit of a slowdown. So for a week, we dropped back a little bit, but because we are now retouching it and our new weekly candle is right on this line, I figured it was time for another video. Looks like, if you take a look here, this is the 50-week moving average. It is sloping upward. Here's our 100-week moving average. It is getting close to converge. Within a month, these will converge. And this should be pretty bullish. So let's look at the daily. Here, we are solidly in the green zone. We exited our red zone back beginning of the year. We've been up. We had our golden cross right as soon as we entered this green zone. When we exited the green zone, things were kind of flat. This is usually a good exit point, but because we have created a solid support here, which you can see where it played off of the resistance of the same area. We came up, we hit a double bottom. This was actually slightly higher than our prior bottom, but essentially a double bottom. We've been playing with this declining line for quite a while. I drew this on the weekly chart, so it's a little messy here, but you can see that this line is a good solid year and a half old. So when we finally broke above this, this was another good entry point. So we finally got above it and found support right here, right there. And now all of our averages are moving upward, and we are solidly in this green zone. The question is how long will we be in the green zone? Well, we've been in a good spot. I said that once we touched this, we'd kind of hit a slowdown. This was a few weeks ago, and I did another update on Ethereum. And we dropped back. We did find a lower low than this move here, but every time you touch the same resistance line, especially if it's an important one, it weakens this a lot. So we are looking at a very, very strong possibility of a breakout. Watch this very closely, because anything above 0.0376 is going to probably go upward. Our target, which would be our next major point on the chart, is probably our 200-week moving average, which is 0.041. But if you look at that, that's a pretty decent return. Our risk reward is definitely looking good. 0.041 versus a 0.0376 entry is a 9 or 10% gain right here. So crossing above this line though, so if I go back to weekly, where we might touch this this 200, almost guaranteed that'll happen. If we fight and move, where's our next point of action in this chart? Well, over the past 4 years, the next point where we had a playoff was right here, 0.052. We had resistance here, fell through it. We fought a lot. We hit resistance over and over and over in this area. We bounced off of it as support right here. We had a little handoff right here. And since then we haven't touched it. So this would be the next area to look for, 0.052. This is looking pretty good. For those of you who are watching Ethereum, this might be a payday for y'all. Hey, look at that. You made it through another video. If you appreciated anything I said, I would really like it if you could give me a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. If I can grow the channel a little bit more, I'd love to start doing giveaways and make things a little bit more fun around here.